You asked for us.
That's right. They've been asking.
We back.
Rezell Simmons, bodybuilder, author, and host, here along with
Angelo, Byrd, entrepreneur, photographer based out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh yeah, and we got a hot show for you today. A very interesting topic we pulled out of the DMs again, so you want to stay tuned and check this on out. But as we usually do,
you know, hey, it's always bourbon when you're around. Gentlemen of Atlanta, right?
There it is.
Today we were using an expression, which is a single barrel select from my favorite liquor store. This is not an endorsement. It's not a paid endorsement.
A lot of people love this. My father loves this.
Yeah, he loves the Buffalo Trace. But this is coming out of the tap house in Fairburn, Georgia. Pre over there. He does it very nice. So we're going to pour out a dram of some good old bourbon.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Whew. All right.
Salute.
Salute.
Winners win. Losers lose. For the record, we do not take shots of bourbon.
I like that.
This ain't tequila. This is bourbon. It's pretty strong.
It's not tequila.
But we're gonna go and muzzle on and get into what the show is gonna prepare for you today. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. We had a couple of these before we started filming today.
That's what happens.
And you get us raw. You get us raw. You get us.
And that's what they want.
Yeah.
It's what they've been asking for. They say, yo, I know Angelo, when he really gonna cut loose? They say you're too conservative. Well, we'll see.
I hear that all the time.
So the topic of discussion today is, if money wasn't a factor, would more relationships last?
Okay. I'm gonna dive in.
Jump in.
Right? Most women, not all women, so don't come hit me in a DM like, why do you say this and say that? Most women need a man that can yield provision, right? They need security. They need to know that they are protected by the man in their life. So what does that provision typically look like? His ability to sustain and keep erect a household. Bills, roof, food, extracurricular activities for the family, vacation, everything associated with it. If a man doesn't have that ability to yield provision, that means the woman / wife of the home has to go out and earn the money. And he is typically going to be a capon. And a capon, C-A-P-O-N, if you don't know what that is the equivalent of a chicken that has his genitalia castrated. And mind you, this is scripted. This is not scripted. This is off the top.
Now you're getting Angelo. Y'all asked for it.
But back to the capon. It's a male chicken that is castrated, that is fattened up for human consumption. And she gets one of those men, which y'all have heard in the topics of beta males and whatnot. He is somebody that probably can't protect his household. The woman in that home is going to yield the provision, make the money, and provide cash for him to ensure that kids are picked up and taken to daycare, and dinner's done. Yeah. And the trash is taken out, and the porcelain cabinets or I think I have quartz countertops are polished well, and the floors are polished. Right? And if this type of man you want, there's nothing wrong with that type of man. I said in the earlier taping that all men cannot and all men will not be leaders. It's not because you can't, it's because it's not your job. And some of men need to be led by women. That's okay. Keep in mind that a lot of women in this day and age are single moms, and you're creating this type of enigma that is happening here in 2023.
There's a key dynamic about that relationship.
Yes.
You know, if we're talking about, not only a woman leading, which is one thing, but a woman being a provider and a leader. In my opinion, y'all don't get mad, this takes the woman out of her natural state. Natural state of where, a woman really shouldn't have to that degree, run a household, pay the bills, clean up, do all of these things. She has a nurturing nature, not to be the super provider. So I find, in my analysis, what I do, women are unhappy in that situation in some cases.
It's not even about unhappy.
Or the relationship may not function as smoothly because the man is out of place as well.
And it's not about what's unhappy or not. It's about what's natural. And if you have been in this unnatural role as a man / or woman, we got to get back to the roots of being who we are destined to be by the God that puts you on this earth. Really.
Absolutely.
So
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Right? I'm not saying that, obviously some women have been married, their husband is deceased, they have to raise children by themselves. They get into another relationship because they want that man to come into their life and be that extra oomph of support and provision, but he just don't got it. Right? Some women like that guy Poo Poo and Pookie and Ray Ray, right? That he can come in the house and lay pipe.
Word.
That's all he can do is lay pipe. And while you're working, he's dropping you off to work, and you're paying all of his bills, you're paying all of your bills, you're taking care of the kids, and that's what you want. The original question, I want you to reiterate it for the people out there that are watching.
Yeah, absolutely. The original question is, would relationships last if money was not a factor?
No.
Now, I think that's fair. Let me give some statistics.
Okay.
All right?
Please do.
To look into that, let's look at some statistics. Some of the main reasons for divorce coming in at 73% is lack of commitment.
Okay.
73%. 56% running up. Number 2 is argue too much. Number 3 is what you may expect. Infidelity.
Okay.
4, married too young, 46%. Unrealistic expectations comes in at 45%. Lack of equality in the relationship comes in at 44. Lack of preparation for marriage comes in at 41%. And domestic abuse at 25. So judging from these statistics, though it's from 2019.
Okay, what's the first one again?
First one is lack of commitment.
Right. So
money's not listed in there.
It says money's not listed.
It says money's not listed.
Right. But if I can't commit to self, and like in an earlier podcast, if I cannot commit as a man to constantly improving me, right? And then I get stagnated in life, and I get stagnated in my home, right? And I just want to do the minimum, the bare minimum of life, and come home and sip my bourbon or Hennessy or Yak or whatever else that we want, or drink a beer and watch sports and play video games. I'm not growing. And I said earlier, if you're not growing, you're dying. So it's lack of what?
Lack of commitment.
You're not committed to self.
You're intertwining the money and the lack of commitment is.
Yeah. I'm not a trust fund baby. And if I'm not committed to growing the family and growing the household and growing the bank account and growing the safety net for my woman, then absolutely the money is going to be a factor in the demise of our relationship.
Yeah, I agree that money is not listed in there, but it's intertwined in many different things. Yes. And commitment definitely could be one, because a lot of people do fall apart. Oh, this person really isn't putting as much effort into the relationship as I am. Or it's unequal. That's what they were saying. In some of them,
yoked.
Unequally yoked. And people have different expectations. They mentioned preparation for marriage, right? That was listed. So all of those things, I think the underlining factor is money.
Yeah. So, but you're not positioning yourself for marriage, right? So when you got two thoughts as it relates to making decisions, you have the emotional space of making decisions, and you have the logical space of making decisions.
Okay.
So most women have had this ideology of knight in shining armor, or the Cinderella story or all these other stories.
That's where they get it, Disney. They get it, okay, all right.
But the reality of life is, and the homogenization of where we are in life today, that is just not it, right? Women have put, especially our black women, have traditionally been raised to be independent and to come into this world and make your own amends to what's happening in the course of life. That's not necessarily fair to you women, right? We gotta really tap into self and say, what do I really want? You want a soft life? How do you create and reinvent that soft life for you? You
mentioned that's what a woman and women nowadays have been brought up in these kind of ways. And when they meet a man, if he's not the same caliber or bringing that same thing to the table, that's where the dissatisfaction may come in.
Right.
That's where one may say there's a lack of commitment. I'm doing this. I got a master's degree. I'm doing everything I can for this relationship for us. And you could be doing more as a man if I'm doing this as a woman.
Right. So now it's competition. You're breeding a competition.
And there's heavy competition.
So then go back to the question. I want you to read those questions again, right?
Yeah.
Those statements again.
Yeah.
So lack of commitment.
Yeah.
Lack of communication.
Yep.
Lack of the ability to grow financially as a man, right? And you're competing. Now you're competing.
Unrealistic expectations.
Right. And now you're competing with a woman who has more than you scholastically, on paper, and then you can't lead, right? It kind of reminds me of my shirt. What does it say? I am an acquired taste. If you don't like me, then acquire some taste.
Acquire some taste.
I'm coming to the table with who I am.
Yeah.
I'm going to yield provision. I can do it all on my own. But I know in my heart of hearts that when I find that woman that can do it alongside me, my life is going to grow exponentially.
Absolutely.
So if you're out there and you may already be there, trust and believe. I know and I recognize. I just am in a space where I get to now live in an environment where I'm independent of having my soulmate partner alongside me.
And it complements you well. Yeah. I think, in again, when you're dating in your 30s, let's say, you're looking for that woman. She may be on a faster pace. She's developed. She's put maybe some more in at an earlier age. So, if you guys are comparable in age, then maybe she could possibly have a step in front of you, maybe, right? And you haven't really reached your peak yet. You haven't really reached that 40-something. So it's important. What I'm saying is to take hold as a man to some of the keys that we're saying and getting yourself prepared to not fall into some of these, if you will, booby traps that have really already been laid there before you were even really coming down the pathway.
Yes. Fellas, learn self. Fellas, love self. Women, stop making excuses for the bullshit that you're being shoved down your throat by these lesser men. Go get you an alpha male if that's what you want. And you want a lesser life, not lesser life, I'm sorry, a soft life where you can do...
That's a good way to put it.
...the things that you need to do to maintain a household, right? Remember this, and I want to end on this. Women choose men. Men do not choose women. Women, outside of force, in any species on the world, and on earth, you choose the man that you allow in your circumference. Be accountable, right? Stop making excuses. Be accountable to what it is that you allow in your circumference. I'm gonna tap out on that one.
No, that's a good tap out. I mean, so women, from my view, find someone that's evenly yoked. If you have high expectations and you want good things out of life, make sure you find someone who has that drive, who wants the same thing, if not more, out of life. And men, from you, be your best self, develop yourself, because then that's going to help you find a partner that you can really mesh with and hopefully lead, because that's really what she wants. And you guys can have a successful relationship right on into marriage.
Reaching the right things at the right time with consistent good results. That is going to be the elixir to what's going to bring you the happiness in life that you deserve and that you want. Angelo, Byrd out.
And we got more for you. That wraps up this episode. Appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. We'll catch you next time, family. Peace.
Peace.